800 PSI or something. This thing runs beautifully. Just started her up, so it's kind of cold. Yeah, I'm just doing the engine maintenance look over today. It's making sure I got to do a fluid flush on here anyways. But one thing to watch for when you buy buses, make sure you check the fluids. Open up those caps and make sure there's not oil or anything in there, because you know those are signs of a head gasket. People open up and say, oh, it looks good. Engine looking good doesn't mean anything. Check your fluids. The best thing you can do is open this cap up, make sure your fluids are clean, they're not black or oily, because that can tell you if you got a head gasket or an exhaust leak in the block, and it can tell you a lot of different things depending on what color it is. So pay attention to your fluids. She's almost out of gas. I gotta put gas in this thing. I've been running it so much to keep warm on the inside while I work that I freaking burned through a quarter tank of gas just sitting here. Yep, that's the engine, in case you wanted to see it. Here's the inside, about to paint the floor. Did the walls, both walls are done. Floors are all plugged. Got bondoed all the little nail holes, which worked really good. It's basically like spackle. So the Bondo works really good for the nails holes. I just pushed one firm push to get it in there and then swept it. And then I used, for the big holes, I used silicone. Still drying. Those are the big holes, the bolt holes. I use silicone to close them up just because Bondo, sorry, I'm tapping my boots off. Bondo just wasn't working on that. I tried to do like one hole, like right there. It worked, but I had to use too much and I didn't feel like mixing up more Bondo. So I just said, screw it, I'll put silicone. They're already plugged, they're primered. But yeah, so the floor is getting painted. As soon as I sweep up, I'm waiting for the silicone to dry, then I'm gonna sweep the floor up, then I'm gonna wipe the floor down again because I've been walking on it with my shoes. So I'm gonna wipe it down with not paint thinner or anything like that, just denatured alcohol just to get my footprints up and any residual oil that might have been left on the floor from my fingers. Kneeling down and squatting or whatever you're doing all day while you paint these walls. So yeah, the floor is kind of dirty right now. As soon as that silicone dries, I can sweep, get on my hands and knees, denature the footprints off, and then I'm gonna do one last touch up on the walls and the back. You see I painted the back, painted that, I painted that, and painted that, and painted up. So I'm gonna do one last touch up around and then paint the floor. This way when I'm ready to leave, because I can't walk on this floor after I paint it for at least like a week. So that's why I'm trying to get everything done before I lay this paint down. One thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the paint a lot with paint thinner. Hopefully I can get the drying process to speed up a little bit. Because if you paint over it, do not make the mistake of painting your floor with just Rust-Oleum paint. Rust-Oleum paint takes forever to dry, literally months. When I say months, people might think like, oh, it can't take that long. It takes months. You will come back 2 weeks later and your floor will still be able to put fingerprints in it with Rust-Oleum on the floor. I hate Rust-Oleum paint. I'm only using this because it gets good coverage on the walls and the epoxy's cheap. Other than that, for drying times, Rust-Oleum is the worst. If you want something that dries quick, get something that dries quick. Rust-Oleum is definitely not it. So I was even debating doing the floors with Rust-Oleum, but what I came up with, I'm just gonna cut it 50-50, paint thinner, Rust-Oleum, and then do a couple light coats so I can get the first coat to dry in like 2 or 3 days, the second coat to dry in 2 or 3 days. But if you don't cut that paint down and you just roll it out, that floor will be wet for months, especially in the winter time. I couldn't even get away with that. My floor would be wet for 2 months right now if I rolled it with straight Rust-Oleum. So I'm not going to do that. But I'll upload another video later on and let you know how this went. Thanks.